Welcome to the final installment of Michael Misbin, the reboot. Now, I know the build for Michael Misbin has not been good. The Miz is not a very strong build, but I'm not trying to build him to be really strong in the very beginning. I want people to want him to be what he was in 2012. A very, very good heel. He was the best heel at the time. So I'm building up into it. So as you saw in my last video, Michael Misbin has now challenged JBL, an old commentator, a former wrestler, to go in the ring with him, and he will go in the ring by Battleground. Now, he was bothering JBL on JBL and Renee's show. He was bothering JBL on every time he went on commentary. He basically was badgering the man and pissed him off enough that he said, "Boy, I'm going to beat the living crap out of you in the ring." And this is what happens. This time at Battleground, JBL's in the ring. He's in his ring attire. And he is waiting for the Miz. He actually, and this is JBL, he comes up in his limousine, as JBL has, and Bradshaw, you know how JBL was. He comes in his lovely limousine. He comes to the ring, and he's waiting and throws his hat to the ground, and he loves his hat, as you know. And he says, "Come on! Come on, Miz! Come on, Misbin!" And this is when the Miz switches from Michael Misbin to the Miz. Because at this moment, you don't hear his previous music he first started out with. You now hear, "I'm here to play." And the crowd will appreciate him going back to the 2012 Miz. Because this is where I would book him, as 2012 Miz. Because that's where he was the best. He comes out dressed as 2012 Miz. He comes to the ring. He takes off his ring attire. And then he jumps into that ring. And he's looking straight down at JBL. And this is where JBL gets his ass handed to him, because that is how the Miz is. He's not playing around. He is going to destroy JBL, which he does. He destroys JBL, and in the end, when he raises his hand up, he asks for a mic and says, "Michael Misbin is done. Now, the Miz is here, and he's awesome!" This is where, excuse me, and that hurt my side. This sucks. Ow, that hurt. Sorry, but you get my point. I tried to progress the Miz to a point where he would plateau and go back to the way he was in 2012. And from there, the Miz would go back to that attitude. He's not being an artisan Miz. He's not being the TV show Miz. He's not being the actor Miz doing Santa's Little Helper. This is the Miz that we love. This is the Miz that people wanted for a while. They kind of appreciated Michael Misbin when he first came back in the beginning of January 2016. But by Battleground, going all the way into Hell in a Cell, he now is the Miz of 2012. The most vicious guy you can see that doesn't joke around. He lets you know that he can kick your ass. He does not do Miz TV anymore. Miz TV is gone. He doesn't do interviews anymore. That is gone. He's now the way he was before he does Miz TV. This is the Miz that I believe should be in the WWE right now. But we're never going to get him back for quite a while, if ever. Now, the final stage for the Miz is for him to demand a match. But not an ordinary match. You see, he goes to Triple H and he says, "Triple H, Hunter, we need something in the WWE. We need something back in the WWE. We need something that's going to give us some relevance in the WWE. I want to bring back the hardcore title for next year." So he says it like this: at WrestleMania, I want to bring back the hardcore title. And the person who gets that title holds it for 1 year and would be considered the only hardcore legend of the WWE. He would hold it for 1 year, he has to retire it, and then he'll be known as a hardcore legend. How about it? He says, that sounds good, but I don't want it for WrestleMania. I want it for Royal Rumble. Because it's nearing Royal Rumble right now. Actually, at this time right now, this is done before Royal Rumble 2016. So I'm going to book this for Royal Rumble 2017. So The Miz does get his request. And he says, I want to be in a match with someone to get that title. And he says, well, if you want to get that match, you're going to have to go through 29 other wrestlers. 28 other wrestlers. So, essentially speaking, no, actually 29. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said 28. He sets up the hardcore title to be won by somebody at the Royal Rumble. Instead of the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, this is for the hardcore title that will only be held by one person from Royal Rumble till TLC, and then the title will be retired again. This person will be the only person in history to hold that title in this recent time. And this would be The Miz going against Daniel Bryan, going up against Titus O'Neil, going up against Randy Orton, going up against The Big Show, going up against Mark Henry, who I will be doing a debate, I'm about to say debating week, doing a booking and wrestling on this man because he deserves better. But The Miz goes through everybody and he wins that title. And for that entire year, he is the hardcore champion where he had to go up against a challenge every week for the first 2 months. And then he had to defend that title each month at each signature pay-per-view. Well, every pay-per-view, not signature pay-per-view. He would basically have to get a challenger every pay-per-view. But the first 2 months, he would have a challenger on SmackDown and on Raw. And on the pay-per-view. So that would give more relevance to that title. So it shows that The Miz is something special. And he would go through everyone. The final person would be at TLC, and it would be Triple H himself that would want the title. And I know I could build up into it, but Triple H says himself, I never held the hardcore title. So I'm going to try and take it from you before we retire it tonight. So I can be the hardcore champion. But The Miz beats Triple H. And when it's all over, The Miz holds the title above his head. He then turns it over to Triple H. Pulls out a mic and says, now and forever, I am The Miz, the hardcore champion and legend of the WWE. And that is truly awesome. Drops his mic, shakes Triple H's hand, and he leaves the ring. And that is how I booked The Miz. To give him relevance. I know this seems to be very unusual and very shocking that I would use a very low tier title. But this is about getting The Miz relevance. He is still going to be a heel. A true deadly heel. But in this one moment, he shows Michael Mizbin coming full circle that his love for wrestling is more important than anything. When he was in real world, he loved wrestling. So he became the only current hardcore champion legend. And his love for wrestling, he handed the title back and said, it's retired. I am the only champion of it. And that is awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this booking the wrestler. Please give me a comment below. I know it's kind of not that great. And I have to admit, mainly reason is because my side is actually still hurting. I'm still having the problem with the kidney stones as of this day, which is January 19th. So I will be releasing this later in a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two. So hopefully by the time this is released, this kidney stone will be out of my system. But I probably will state it eventually in an update video. But you guys have a good day and have a good night. Peace.